This is Dan here at Blue Dog Farms, head cowologist and chief tractor breaker. And if you've watched our video last year, I was hauling water to cows with this International TD6. And I was doing it again this year because I still don't have the problem solved. And I broke it. It's broken. My little wheel tractor, the Alice Chalmers, would not pull this trailer full of water up the hill. So that part's out of the question, besides the fact that it's broken too. Yeah, I'm running out of tractors that run. So I've had people ask me why I have a tractor like this and it looks funny without the blade on it, because they've only seen it used as a bulldozer. Those of you on the West Coast are familiar with crawler tractors being used in farming all the time. People on the East Coast, they kind of look at you funny. They've never seen it before. So yeah, these are used in farming all the time. Crawler tractors like this and bigger are used on the West Coast for farming steep hills all the time. There's quite a few advantages. In pasture, there's advantages and disadvantages. It's a good tool to have. I don't know what the fate of the old TD6 is going to be yet. It's got some issues besides the engine breaking yesterday. So I really don't know what the answer is, if I'm gonna fix it or not, but I still got to get water up here, and I asked the Lord for direction and wisdom on how to do this, and He gave me my wife, and she gave me a clue as to how to get water to the rest of this pasture. So let's go see how this is going to work. Let's get going. So there's some YouTube channels I watch where invariably they're going to do some talking or do a monologue, report on a story, share their feelings, and they do it in their car or their pickup or whatever it is they drive. And I never have really figured out why. So I thought I'd give it a shot. I'm hauling this water tank down to a lower elevation where I can pump water to it with the existing pump. Yep, that's it. That is my whole monologue from inside my pickup. Anybody want to oh, my pickup's mad at me because I'm driving through the cow pasture without my seatbelt on. There we go. Anybody want to share in the comments and enlighten me on why it is everybody, not everybody, but a lot of YouTubers choose to monologue in their vehicle? That would be helpful in some way. I would find it interesting. Now down here a little bit on my way up, I ran through a series of groundhog holes. And if you're fortunate enough to still be watching after this extremely exciting monologue, you will get treated. Obviously, I don't have a dash mounted camera. Yeah. So I'm down here to where I know the existing pump will reach with water, and the idea is to fill this 275 gallon tub behind me with water, and then use a booster pump to pull out of that water, out of this water, and pump the rest of the way up the hill. Now it doesn't have to go far. It only has to make it another maybe 6 to 8 vertical feet before it starts, before I can make it or let it go downhill most of the rest of the way. So hopefully this little booster pump, I've got a little pump at home I want to use that I already have. It's an older pump, but I want to use that rather than buying a new one. And hopefully it will do the job that I need it to do. So we're going to run a garden hose up here. I'm going to install this. This is a Job Megaflow float valve. I'm going to penetrate the side of the wall here and mount this on the inside so that the water can fill all the way up. And when it's done filling up, it'll stop. And let's go put our pump together. So this is the pump that I have. I don't know how old it is, but it's a Montgomery Ward pump. I highly doubt they made this, they just sold it, but it gives you kind of the age of it. It's not very new. Now the electrical components other than the motor are kind of sketchy. If you see this cord, the insulation's kind of gone and it's all cracked. The plug is very old. This was the pressure relay, so I just discarded all that. This is also cord going back to the motor from the relay. I am replacing that as well. I've already put on a new valve here. This is, for a lack of being able to find anything else, a suction hose nipple. I've got a piece of hose that'll slip over this and then go to the water tank. This is a new gauge as well. I have tested this pump before I did anything to it. I did plug it in and saw that it ran and it pumped water. So I'm going to finish doing this build and we'll get this out to the cows. Let's get going. So these little rubber pieces are in here. You stick the cord through and it's supposed to like keep, I don't know, bullfrogs and bugs out and, you know, water splashes, I guess. The reason I don't like it is because anything can catch it and just pull it right out. And since this is going to be out in the field, there's a chance, you know, I'll walk by and trip on it or a cow will come by. I'm going to take these off and replace them with these. This will clamp the wire in so you can't easily pull it out and cause a short or anything. Make the pump stop working that way. Now, somebody may say, well, yeah, but water can get in there. Well, true, water can get in there, but this is also not a sealed motor, so it should be covered, and I'll probably end up putting a bucket over the top of it anyway. But this will keep the wire secure so it doesn't get pulled out. And again, it's going to have to be covered anyway. Thanksgiving turkeys. And Staf, he's the chairing section. So let me explain how this works. This is my old pump that I have, and what I did is I put pressure relay on where the old one was, and this is a pressure relay you would find on most any household system that uses a well. What happens is the pump turns on, and when it reaches a certain pressure that you set in here, it'll shut the pump off. And then as you use water out of your household system, it'll turn back on and pump it back up to whatever the pressure setting is. And which leads us to the pressure tank here. It's one I also happen to have left over from a different project, and it'd be nice if it was bigger, but I didn't have to buy it. I already had it, so including the mount, I already had, so it was good I didn't have to buy that. So this absorbs, it's got a bladder in here, and as the pressure builds, the bladder fills up with air or water, doesn't really matter. It fills up the pressure, and as you use out of your system, this bladder will push down to let you use water without the pump turning on absolutely every time you need water. Now, again, this isn't very big. It's going to cycle probably more often than I'd like, but usually when the cows come to drink, it's all at once. So hopefully it'll just stay on until the water trough's full, and just stand in reserve and won't cycle too many times. So I came off of here with a ball valve and a reducing T here for this. This is just the line that goes to the pressure tank, and this is a garden hose fitting that will run to the water trough itself. So let's get all this hooked up. All right, so this is a float switch. You plug your pump electricity through it, and what you do is you put this inside, and when it goes up, it turns on, and when the level goes down and this lays down like this, it turns off. And so I put it on this milk jug so it wouldn't be right on the ground, so it would have to be up a little ways before it would turn on. Unfortunately, the milk jug won't go in the hole. Now, if I were to this is full of water, and if I were to have just filled it with water and stuck it in there, yeah, it'd be heavy and it'd go to the bottom, but it would be very buoyant. In fact, the plastic is less dense than water, so it probably would float to the surface and not work. So I put a bunch of gravel in it. So between the gravel and the water, filling the air space, it should stay on the bottom. But I can't get it through there. So what I think I'll do, and this is very, very sophisticated, I just zip tied the cord to the handle. What I'm going to do is dump out the water and not the rocks, and see if I can squish the carton enough that I can get it through there. But then I'm going to have to fill it back up with water so that it sinks again. All right. Look at that. All right, now I got to fill it back up with water. It'd be nice to get it back out to its original shape, but not necessary. Alright, I got this fiberglass pole I use for chasing cows and marking borders for snow. I'm sticking it in the mouth of the milk jug so I can submerge it. Now air bubbles are coming out. I don't think you can see that. Alright. That went to the bottom. Good deal. Alright, I left the cap off. Shouldn't matter because it's just going to be full of water. And now I can plug this end in through the pump. But I'm going to test it first before I get too carried away. I should have enough water to test it. We'll see. Alright, I've got electricity coming into the float switch. This is the cord that goes to the pump, and I believe the water's high enough now. Yep, it is. Well, that's a pretty good flow. Well, it's not building up enough pressure. I'm gonna have to turn it down some. It's 9. I don't have a 9 deep socket. Yeah. So I didn't think about that, but I need a check valve so water doesn't flow backwards this way, which yeah. So let's see how far up the hill this will push it at 40 pounds. All right. Here we go. All the turkeys gave up on me and went back to the trailer. I can see water coming out. It's coming out pretty good. Not bad pressure. It'll get over the hill. So it's only got to get up over that hill and just make the distance, but it's that's the highest point I have to get over to graze the rest of the pasture. All right, so now I need a 1-inch check valve. So here we are about a week later. The pump's still working, good old Montgomery Ward pump, still pumping water. After putting in the check valve there, it's worked flawlessly, and it's gone quite a ways. It's been about a week, and the cows haven't been out of water. The system's keeping up with the cows. So let's take a ride and see how far we got with our watering system here. So here you can see the tank, and we're going to see how far away the cow's water is now. There's the turkeys. They're also getting water from this system. Here we are along the poultry fence, and this is the highest point that the hose has to go over. And there's the water trough. We're going to move it up one more this morning. But this is how far we've gotten so far. So here we are at the water trough. The pump is working every bit as well as expected, if not better than expected. The cows aren't thirsty. That's the main goal here. They've never run out of water since I've started using this. It's actually much less work than hauling water. I'm really happy with the system, even if it's just temporary and not permanent. It's still letting me graze this portion of the pasture this year. So I'm going to get this moved, get the cows moved up one more this morning, and move on with my day. So this is Dan here at Blue Dog Farms, head cowologist and chief water boy, and you have a blessed day.